And hello and welcome everyone to the Solicitation Station, the show where we take a closer look at what new comic and superhero adventures you can come to expect in the coming months. In this case, it's going to be August. We got a whole big chat here with right now. Pastor, hello. Love the Coded Joel Extra channel. It's funny. Well, I'm glad you like that. Again, these shows, when they're done, they get put up there, so you can check it out there. But yes, for those who have never seen the show, this is where we talk about solicitations. These are, books you can buy in the future. Both Marvel and DC have put out theirs for the month. As you can see, I've just decided to screen capture Google Chrome now for Newsarama, because if you've ever watched the show before, usually it takes some time for the books to get announced. It takes even more time for Marvel to get theirs out than DC. I don't know why Marvel is always late. And then it usually takes a couple more days as I try and collect all the different pictures for all the different upcoming books so I can talk about them on this show. So I just said, you know what, screw it. We're just gonna screen capture, and we're just gonna take it right from Newsarama, because it's not like people don't know where I'm getting these from or anything. It's not like I'm pretending to have some sort of inside track that I don't have. So with that, let's actually, no, I will let the chat decide. I was going to say let's start with DC first, because that's where it comes alphabetically, but you know what, we got over 12 people in the chat right now. Where would you, the chat, like to start with this? This is what you get for seeing the show live. Oh, well, thank you, the Nothing Man. Appreciate it for following. Cheers to you. I raise a cream soda flavored Zevia to you. But yes, chat, what would you like to talk about first in the solicitation? Should we take the DC side first, or should we take the Marvel side first? Let's see what Marvel has coming. All right, John Morebeard says take Marvel. So far, he's in the lead. Space Lord says DC. It's 1-1 now. This is the sort of content you can only choose for yourself when we're doing it live. I forgot to check out the solicitations, damn it. Well, that's why I'm here, Captain Morales. Thanks to Sal, I want to check out Marvel and Carnage. There's a lot of good stuff coming in this Carnage event. Thanks in DC. All right, that's 2 DC, 2 Marvel. That's 3 DC. Okay, you're tied 4 apiece now. All right, that's 5 Marvel. All right, Marvel's 1. All right, then. So I guess we'll check out Marvel first, and then we'll double back, and we'll check out DC. That was close. That was neck and neck there. Marvel almost didn't win that one, but all right, so we'll go here to the Marvel side right now, and as you couldn't tell already, it's all about Carnage. It's all about Absolute Carnage, the big new event that Donny Cates has been setting up within the pages of the Venom book. There was also the free comic book day issue, which I got but didn't get a chance to read yet, and man, just looking at this early artwork here, it looks positively sick. For those who didn't already know, the deal with Absolute Carnage is that Cletus Cassidy is now working as the agent of Null. That's the dark god who invented the symbiotes, essentially, who gave birth to them in this new retcon. That's what that crazy symbol on his head is. It looks like it's Bullseye, but it's not. It's actually the symbol of Null. And the deal is that Cletus Cassidy has figured out that every person who has ever worn a symbiote, which in the Marvel Universe is many, many people, they leave a little tiny imprint, a little tiny bit of genetic code. Oh, someone did a thing. Thank you, Viquelli. I appreciate the follow. Always appreciate it. But yes, what was I saying? Carnage, yes. Carnage figured out they left a little bit of residue behind on someone, and that if he can capture all of it, then he can make himself more powerful, and he can even resurrect Null. So that's a pretty big deal. Does the tie into the prophecy and the other Carnage stories? Yes. Yes, basically anything written about Carnage by Donny Cates, you should probably read. Pastor, you should probably read, because that's going to be really important. And the actual book itself is surprisingly short at only 4 issues, as we can see here. Most events go longer, although Marvel, to their credit, is making their events shorter and shorter. War of Realms was only 6. However, by only having 4 issues, they make up for this, and by having like a metric truckload of tie-ins. And I'm gonna come out and say it right now. Why does Carnage want Null revived? Because the story says so, D&G, that's why. Because Null is the new top bad guy. Although I wouldn't be surprised at all if Carnage ends up turning on Null at some point, deciding he wants to keep all this power for himself. But yeah, as I was saying, while the event itself might only be 4 issues, they make up for it by having a metric truckload of tie-ins. In fact, I would probably say pound for pound, Absolute Carnage is going to have more tie-ins than War of Realms, and War of Realms had a fair amount of tie-ins. But reading all this Carnage stuff will get in my way of not caring about Carnage. That's fair, Nothing Man. If you don't care about Carnage, then this isn't going to make you start, because Donny Cates is making this the most Carnage-y Carnage event ever. I will say it's a bit smarter. I will say I'm normally in the same boat as you, Nothing Man. You know, most of these 90s characters don't do it for me either, but maybe you'll like what Cates is doing. He's taking it to some fun directions. It's funny how we're having a Deadpool versus Carnage, even though we had one years back. Yeah, Green Ninja, we're going back to that. Well, here's the thing. If you've been reading the Donny Cates Venom book, all of those Carnage stories are still canon, and he makes reference to them. So the man has definitely done his homework. So, you know, big props for that. What are some of the tie-ins we got going on here? Oh, they're re-releasing the Many Hosts of Carnage. So basically a bunch of Carnage books that they had previously. So if you do want to go back and you do want to hear all the different stories that are being referenced, that's certainly something that you can do. What else do they have here? Venom will be, of course, a flagship book in this, because the story is, you know, coming out of the pages of Venom. Also, a bit of a spoiler, I guess Eddie and the symbiote patch things up because they're back together. And as we see here, with Carnage on the loose, Venom must protect his son Dylan. Yes, Venom has a kid now, if you haven't been reading that book, all at a cost. But as long-time Venomax, get it, Venomaniacs, no, Venom and Carnage are the only symbiotes on the loose. So yes, it's not just Venom, and it's not just Carnage. They've basically resurrected all the major Life Foundation symbiote. So if you watch that movie, first off, sorry. Second off, yeah, you got Scream and Riot and all the others. As we mentioned previously, we're going back to the Deadpool versus Carnage. Well, because, I mean, they're just two incredibly profitable characters, and if you put them on a comic, they're going to sell. I have not been reading a lot of the new Deadpool. I thought Jerry Duggan's... Oh, what was that? Thank you, SD Anthony, for subscribing. Once again, SD Anthony always helping keep the lights on the Solicitation station and all my streaming endeavors. He's basically the patron saint of this thing, so thank you, sir. Do you think Cates will tie in War of Realms into the Carnage time, since they're basically back-to-back? I think he has to, D&G. Jason Aaron's already priming the pump for Absolute Carnage, which surprises me. He really didn't have to, but he is. How have I been, SD Anthony? Honestly, to be fair, Anthony, I've been having a pretty bad day until I came on here. I've been having no end of troubles dealing with airlines for my Vancouver trip in July. It sucked. They basically filled out my information wrong twice, and now my bank is all locked up because they think someone stole my identity, so I gotta go in tomorrow and work that out. Isn't Scream one of the Life Foundation symbiotes getting a tie-in mini-book? You bet, Amazing Spider-Man. We'll get to that in a minute, but you better believe Scream, they're all getting books there. SD Anthony, the patron saint of comic book Twitch accounts. He really is, because it's not just me. I like to think I'm special, but he really spreads the love everywhere. Oh, really, Green Ninja? Ellie's going to be in this one. That one Deadpool issue where we see Ellie again. Yeah, I felt, Jerry Duggan had such a good run that I was okay leaving that book when he was done. But we're getting to Carnage time. If you liked the original Deadpool versus Carnage, they look to be giving you more of that. We're also getting a new team. Oh, more stuff keeps happening. Aura Force is now falling. Well, thank you, Aura Force, for joining. We do this show every couple months here. If this is your first time, I appreciate you coming out. Isn't Spider-Man getting a tie into the event? Yes, Captain Morales. I think a few are. Oh, and NGAC91. Thank you. We got all the Warriors out here tonight. Everyone's coming in. I'm having trouble getting through the show because everyone is subscribing and being so nice and kind, and I appreciate it, and cheers. I got my first Twitch payment not too long ago, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without the support of people just like you. As Mr. Rogers used to say, you know, this is public comic television. But, yeah, we're getting a new team book, Lethal Protectors, and, woo, here's an unexpected group for this one. We got, Cloak and Dagger, who we haven't seen since their digital series. Is their digital series still going, or did that stop? I can't quite remember. We got Danny Ram the Iron Fist, who really, it's just nice to see him in anything. And Morbius is going to be part of this team, too, for some reason. Okay. I'm fine with that. Oh, you know why Morbius is in this? Because Morbius is getting that new movie. And technically, the studio making that movie, Sony, still has a piece of Venom. Because that's obviously part of their universe. That's why Morbius is getting a push. God damn. Because the fucking Morbius movie. All right, whatever. This looks like a fun team. Honestly, I'm just happy to see characters like Cloak and Dagger and Danny Rand back and stuff. Who's writing that one? Oh, Frank Terry is writing that. Frank Terry is a very good, very workman-like writer. I'm sure he will do a good job in that one. And again, blissfully short at only 3 issues. I think Marvel finally got the memo. Keep these short, sweet, and to the point. And now a bunch of conversation about Leto in there. Thanks, Joel. Haven't gotten a chance to make it, but happy to stop by. Aw, well, that's really nice, Aura Force. I'm glad you could be here for this one, especially because this is a really jam-packed episode. I know, SD. Yeah, I know. Marvel getting the memo on something. It happens. Broken clocks are right twice a day, at least. What else do we got here? Oh, again, people were asking, will Miles Morales be getting a tie-in? Yes, he will be. He will be written by Saladin Ahmed, and it looks like Matt Gargan the Scorpion is going to be at the center of this one, which makes a lot of sense because Gargan was a symbiote owner at one point. He was one of the many multiple Venoms, so I'm sure that will be coming up here, and it looks like Miles is trying to protect him while also trying to protect himself. Now, I wonder, and again, I don't quite know where Amid is at this one yet, I wonder if this book will make reference to the fact that in the Ultimate Universe, Miles' mother was killed by the Ultimate Symbiote. I think that would be kind of interesting if that carries over. I know they're playing fast and loose as to how much of the Ultimate Universe actually stuck around, but I would like to see if any book would actually make reference to it. It would be this one. Again, here's that Scream book, written by Cullen Bunn. Cullen Bunn exceeds at projects like this where you don't think they would be good, but they might be good. And, you know, Scream, even all these years later, continues to has a weird cult following, maybe because she's the girl one, who doesn't know. But she's getting her own standalone, and then Clay Chapman is also doing Separation Anxiety, which looks to include all the different Life Foundation symbiotes in one team. So, oh boy, if you love the symbiotes, your cup runneth over. There will be no end of them. Didn't they reference it in Venom number 3 or 4? What did they reference? Oh, the Ultimate Symbiote? They fast and loosed it. They said that, like, oh, you know, Miles doesn't like symbiotes, but maybe that's just, like, you know, in premise, in theory. Maybe he remembers it, maybe he doesn't. Hello, Devin the Grey. Welcome, welcome. We were just talking about all the different solicitations. We just got done talking about the first wave of the Absolute Carnage books. And again, these are the first waves because these are going to be going for a while now. This is going to be the big summer event and has a cool look compared to the other ones. That's true. Amazing Spider-Man. Scream does look a little bit more unique. Again, because of the girl one, because she's got the flowing hair and everything else. Man, I wish Clayton Crane could draw the Miles Morales AC tie-in, because I'm really not feeling the art we have for the new Miles book. I'm 2 issues behind the new Miles book. I'm going to catch up on that this week. I know it's kind of hit or miss. I do like that the artist for the Miles book put so many fun references in, like he's wearing a Captain Marvel shirt, and if you look in the back of his room, he has an Academy Award for the Spider-Verse movie. So that's fun, if nothing else. What else do we got going on here? Oh, yes, X-Men will be in full swing. Hickman's X-Men around this time. The solicitations admittedly don't give a lot of information about what we can come to expect. We see some old characters, we see some new characters, we see some classic scenarios like them fighting the Sentinels. We see Sabretooth, who has slowly but surely just morphed back into his old costume. We got Magneto the White here, which has always been a pretty solid look for him, honestly. I mean, I'm wary of X-Men, guys. I know I've said it before. I've basically cut all of X-Men out of my comic reading diet and never really felt like I missed anything, but Hickman's writing and they swear this reboot's gonna stick this time. Are they basically rebooting the books with Hickman running them? More or less Amazing Spider-Man, which kind of sucks if you really were into the Rosenberg reboot and the last couple reboots that, again, they're basically saying, well, we're starting from scratch again. I think Matt put it the best way, though, by saying, you know, give this one a chance, though, because Hickman's always wanted to write X-Men. He wanted to do it before Fantastic Four and before Avengers, and those went down as some of people's favorite runs ever, so surely he must have a good idea. From what Hickman is saying, it's going to be really good. I hope it's going to be good, SD. I really do. I hope I can really sink my teeth into this one and bring X-Men back into my comic reading diet, because I really haven't been. I think Zdarsky sold it to me on a joke. Yeah, Zdarsky can sell anything. He's just that good. I liked Rosenberg's reboot, but I'm extremely interested to see what Hickman has planned. Likewise, It's just I wish they would stop giving X-Men holding patterns is all I would. Then of course we have the Marvel Comics issue number 1000 celebrating 80 years of Marvel Comics and starring every comic writer and artist you've ever heard of. They brought together some amazing teams, including some people who have never written comics before, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Phil Lord and Miller, those guys from the Spider-Verse movie. They're going to be taking a crack at this too. I really don't know what to expect with this. They kind of make it sound like every page is going to be a story unto itself, but, you know, with that much talent attached to it, sure, why not? Let's rock with it. Look at that. Look at that big list. Look at that big list of everyone involved in it. And that's not even counting the wraparound variants that obviously, you know, make reference to fun moments from Marvel history. Ooh, I like this one. It's all kind of 70s, you know, Midnight Suns there. You got Howard the Duck with a sword. I like that one a lot. And then here we got the big version with everyone in it all together. Actually, Sal was talking about this on Twitter before we started. Apparently there's some artwork here in this big collage that isn't from Marvel, that it's actually from DC. That it's, when the Earth 2 version of Alan Scott kisses his husband, that's apparently in here somewhere. They've apparently buried that one here amongst all the other art. So somebody messed up under the gun. Oops. You put art there that didn't belong there because it's from another universe. Unless this means we are going to be getting a DC Marvel crossover in the future. Yeah, literally everyone is here. All the Warriors are here, Devin. But yeah, so now here's another shocking thing. We're going to be getting in August a bunch of new Fantastic Four books. Yancey Street is getting a book written by Jerry Duggan. I think this is going to be a Thing-centric book, and I think Duggan is perfectly suited to write The Thing. I love him. He's a lovable knucklehead, you know, and he's going to be here on Yancey Street solving problems. I'm fine with that. They also said this is going to be a series, not a mini-series, so that's interesting. But yeah, that's just one of many spin-offs we're getting. We're also getting Peter David with a brand new Silver Surfer book, which apparently also ties into the events of what was going on in Donny Cates' Thanos book. Because, you know, we see the art there for Prodigal Son where he's turning all black and everything. That's an interesting take. Then, of course, we have him here with Galactus. He's been made the Herald again. I'm going to enjoy checking back on in with Norrin Radd. It's been way too long since we've had a proper Silver Surfer series, and now that his status quo has more or less been returned, I'm excited to see where they're going with that. Oh, we got some more stuff here. Hey, Connor Hawk, cheered times 30. Silver Surfer, take my money. Well, geez, if I knew that, Connor, I would be doing nothing but Silver Surfer. Actually, I want to cover Thanos Wins on the channel in a story so far before this book comes out, because obviously that was the last real big time something important happened with Silver Surfer. And apparently they're going to tie together, so I want to do that. And also, it's literally been sitting on my computer forever, half finished. I'm probably going to need to read it again. Well, Devin the Great, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we're coming to that next. If you are a Gwen Stacy fan in any form, oh boy, your cup is running over in August, because you are getting Ghost Spider #1 from Seanan McGuire. So basically, they finally bit the bullet after all this time and said, yeah, you know, it's Spider-Gwen in a different universe. That's fun and everything. But what if we just bring her to the main universe? And really, I'm shocked it took them this long to do it. She's incredibly marketable, has an amazing costume, got huge fan penetration with that Spider-Verse movie. So it's really just about goddamn time they brought her over. Is it confusing to have so many spider people running around? No more than anything in comics is confusing, I would say. The one thing I don't love is that they're calling her Ghost Spider, because Ghost Spider just isn't as good as Spider-Gwen. I know why they're not going to go with Spider-Gwen, because that would betray what her secret identity is. I mean, hell, if you were going to do anything, just call her Spider-Woman. You're not doing anything with Jessica Drew currently. You might as well just call her Spider-Woman. Heck, make a story out of that, where she can meet all the other Spider-Women of this universe and fight for that title. Because if you can have multiple Spider-Men, multiple Wolverines at one point, multiple Hawkeyes, just let her be Spider-Woman, for Christ's sake. Maybe they're afraid of the Spider-Woman name because they're like, oh, Spider-Woman books don't sell historically, but still, just give her the goddamn name. Marvel is committing is like getting a good X-Men movie. One day, SD, one day. Can we have the 97 X-Men? That would be nice. I would also like the 97 X-Men to be a book written by Jerry Conway. I'm shocked that didn't happen. Really am. She can be Ghost Spider only if she gets the Spirit of Vengeance for an issue or two. Oh, John, you wrote the next Spider-Man event right there. I think you did. Ooh, they're going to have to pay you for that. Love Sheen McGuire's novel, and she's like getting more comic work. Agreed. The Nothing Man. That's always good to see. It's always nice to see people make the jump. Now, again, as I said, it's a great time if you're a Gwen Stacy fan. Well, Gwenpool is literally coming back in a series called Gwenpool Strikes Back. This is going to be a mini. It's written by Leah Williams. Looks good. You know, it's funny. I have the weirdest history with Gwenpool. I read issue 1 of the original series, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty funny. And I took it to the Weekly Pull guys. I'm like, oh, isn't this funny? She has genre savvy and everything. Isn't this cute? And they literally shot me down and shat all over me for liking it. They're like, oh, we can't believe you like that, Joel. Then I come back and find out they all read issue 2 and loved it and read every issue after that, where I didn't, where I was just like, oh, you guys peer pressured me into not reading it. And it's the only time that's ever happened. And I feel like I owe Gwenpool better. I feel like I should go back and actually check that out a little bit more. But there's a fun peek behind the curtain, everyone. Even some of your favorite comic book people behind the scenes deal with their own peer pressure. And also, thank you, Connor Hawk, again, too, for filling the cup there, making sure the light stayed on and we keep doing content like this. Also, you're very lucky, everyone, because you're getting a double header of shows tonight. You're getting this, and then literally as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to turn around and do the wrestling show, so you get 2 for the price of 1. So what we learn is peer pressure works on Joel. Sometimes it does, the Nothing Man. Not all the time, but sometimes it works. In this situation, it totally worked, and I missed out on a good comic because my friend said it was bad, only they turned around and read it and loved it. And I, like, in protest, was like, well, I'm not going to read it then just to spite you, which I'm really only spiting myself and not hurting anyone, so there you go. Amazed they haven't announced a solo Shang-Chi book along with the Eternals. Well, Amazing Spider-Man, if you like Shang-Chi, we're going to get to that in a minute, and that is, of course, because Agents of Atlas. It was just a tie-in to War of Realms, but now it's back with a brand new mini-series, which I'm sure if it sells well, and I don't see why it wouldn't, it'll become a whole series. And if you read this book, you can get your Shang-Chi, you can get your Amadeus Cho, who's kind of in the outs with the champions right now if you're reading that book. You can get my girl Silk, my really underrated girl Silk, who I happily did read her entire run, and would, tell anyone who listened that I thought she was great and that book was much better than it had any right to be. I think the art turned people off. I think the art was very, webcomic, which personally I felt it was part of the charm. And I mean, you look at something like, Unstoppable Wasp, and same deal. But, yeah, good to see this team back. If you've been liking what you've been seeing in War of Realms, you're just going to be getting more of it. Then you got Marvel Monsters with Cullen Bunn. He's just can't let them monsters go, Cullen Bunn, can he? From the big War of the Monsters event to that Kid Kaiju book, he's just not gonna let you forget about the monsters. He's waving that flag loud and proud that monsters are cool and awesome and should get more stuff. And that's indeed what he's doing. Now, what else do we got here? Major X Zero. So apparently this book sold super huge in pre-orders from Rob Liefeld. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to say about it. Moving on. We got another Future Foundation book right here. Yeah, the Fantastic Four keep getting cool spin-offs. I know some people who are really big fans of the Future Foundation. I personally never got into them, but hey, more power to you if you like it. I do like Invaders, and Invaders isn't going to stop under Chip Zdarsky. I think Zdarsky has been on an amazingly strong tear as of recently through all of his books. I think Invaders is the most slept-on one he's doing in between his Daredevil and his Spider-Man life story. But if you like Invaders, you like World War II epics, as I do, then you're going to love this one here, because this one's been great. Zub still going very strong with Champions. As we can see from this panel right here, Sam Alexander clearly gets his Nova helmet back, but is he friend or foe now? Furthermore, we see the return of the Freelancers, who are basically, the evil version of the Champions, young supervillains. Love what Zub has been doing with that book. He's really given it a new life and really breathed fresh air into it. Excited to see what he does next with that series. Did people immediately stop caring about Fantastic Four a few months after they came back? I mean, I kind of did. Not because I didn't like the book or what Slott was doing, but just because I had too many things to read, and I hadn't read Fantastic Four for so long, so I was okay with stopping. That's just kind of my thing. Again, I'm happy it's back. It's it's a nice sense of home and community that it's actually back. That's pretty good. What else do we got here? We got Savage Avengers, again from Jerry Duggan. Duggan just cleaning up on this one. This is just the continuation of the story we're seeing so far. They won't even be done their first run by August, or their first arc, I should say, by August. They're still fighting evil cultists in the Savage Lands, shooting ninjas. What's not to love about it? If you love action-packed action, as they say, I'm sure you'll like this. Then we got the other book, Power Pack, with, again, Louise Simonson coming back to do a Power Pack book. Holy shit. This isn't even a mini-series either. This is just, like, straight up a series. Hot damn. Also, there's that brown-suited Wolverine again, and, like, Kitty Pryde in her classic costume. So, hot damn. Again, if you are a fan of Power Pack, which I know many people are, and it feels like they try and make Power Pack happen every couple years, here you go. You got a great writer on your favorite book here. I feel like they're thinking where it's like, man, imagine if we could turn this into a movie, though. It's like, wait, they're little kids with superpowers and they're adorable and they hang out with the adult heroes? What? Why is this not $1 million franchise? We're Disney, right? Why shouldn't we be able to turn this into a thing? That's my thought on it. Tony Stark Iron Man, again, continuing to go strong. Tony's losing his body, becoming more robotic, while Jocasta becomes more human. It's an interesting premise. I like that Dan Slott is actually getting some help on this one from Jim Zub, and we're actually going to be seeing some more Champion-style crossover. That's pretty cool. I'm 2 issues behind this one, too, and I'm hoping to get that all read up by this week. Then we got Thor, which you'll notice there's no pictures for Thor. This kind of sounds like it's Aaron closing up shop on the Thor book near the end of War of Realms. He's basically saying that, Asgard has been forever changed now. Assumedly, Jane will still be All-Mother and he will be All-Father, and they'll have to take from there to see who's actually in charge. And the fact that they're keeping the picture secret for what's actually going down is pretty fascinating. I'm also going to miss Aaron on Thor, Amazing Spider-Man, but all good things come to an end. Who I don't feel excited for is the person who has to fill his shoes when it's all done. Ugh. Cape Joel, isn't he taking on Valkyrie with Jane as the new one? Yeah, he is, SD. He's also taking on that book as well. He says that's going to be his official final word on Thor, that particular book. So, again, you can't miss that one. Donny Cates or Al Ewing for Thor? Probably Amazing Spider-Man. That definitely seems to be the way the winds are blowing. I'd like to see Matthew Rosenberg on it, personally. I think he's got, he's got a sense of fun that I would like to see on the page. I pray for the next writer who has to deal with Thor's fan base. Indeed, hey, top this 8-year epic, dude. Top it, I dare you. But yeah, so that was that. Avengers, apparently Ghost Rider is going to be taking center stage in the next arc, again, also from Aaron, and also the Celestial is going to be turning against them, which, hey, nice bit of continuity if you've been reading the War of Realms tie-ins for Avengers. In fact, my video will be up, I think it's rendering right now. It's rendering right now, or it's going to be up. It's going to be up soon, actually. Goddamn, why did I start this show? I've got friggin' work to do. But, yeah, in that book, spoilers, they found out the Celestial that they've been living in may not actually have been as dead as they thought. So they might have to fight it now. So that's kind of fun. Their whole base turns against them. You got the Immortal Hulk Director's Cut, which is pretty friggin' cool, if you ask me, because it's a great book. We're actually going to continue on with this story, The Return of Rick Jones. So Hulk gets his old-timey sidekick back. That's a lot of fun. We also have, as you can see right here, Betty Ross returning not as the Red She-Hulk, but as the Harpy, which was the original Gamma creature that she turned into. So we have this interesting Hulk book trinity now, where Rick Jones is a zombie, Betty is a horrible monster, and the Hulk is the Devil Hulk. So, lots of fun stuff going on there. Then for Captain America, Ta-Nehisi Coates, we have The Legend of Steve. Basically, Steve Rogers living on the run now, still trying to clear his name. He's escaped prison, but now the real fight has actually begun with Hydra and Lucan and everything else. Looks to be a fun time. The chat saying Avengers Eviction Notice. Yeah, that's a good title for it. I like that. Red She-Hulk was best, let's be honest. She had some fun stuff, but the Harpy, you don't have enough avian-themed characters. I am also enjoying this cat book. I feel a lot of people are misrepresenting it because it is slow and talky, and it is like an Alan Sorkin joint. But yeah, I'm all about it. I'm not reading Symbiote Spider-Man. I am reading Amazing Spider-Man, though, and oh boy, does Spencer have stuff planned for us this summer. We got the Sinister Syndicate. So you got Lady Doc Ock, Lady Scorpion, that new Lady Electro, the White Rabbit, who people love putting the White Rabbit in stuff, and of course, Lady Beetle, who he created for his Superior Foes of Spider-Man run. She's actually Tombstone's daughter, in case you didn't know. They all come together and join forces in a brand new team to try and kill Boomerang for some reason. I don't know why. I do know that this is going to be returning to the Superior Foes of the Superior Foes of Spider-Man content that we have loved so much from Nick Spencer, and the thing that really made me a fan in the first place. So, new Sinister Syndicate team, more focus on Boomerang, probably more comedy. Sign me the hell up for it. And then we also have Spencer returning to write some more stuff about Kingpin. Kingpin, who has sort of been an overarching bad guy in this arc, but not really. It's like he fought him in issue 1. He definitely hired Boomerang and the Superior Foes, then we never saw anything from it. We're seeing stuff from it here now. They're gonna be having it out. They're gonna be having words, and I think that's gonna be some good stuff. Female Scorpion from Kevin Smith's Spidey story. Again, good pull. Actually, she's been showing up a lot, actually, that version of the character. Again, I feel like Lady Doc Ock has come back in vogue now because of Into the Spider-Verse. They're like, hey, don't we have a Lady Doc Ock? Can't we make her cool and interesting? Kingpin is a massive villain in so many books now. He's mayor of New York. People forget that he's currently the mayor of New York. Do you prefer Kingpin to be outright evil or morally gray? In Kingpin books, I like him to be morally gray. I like to himself he thinks he's morally gray. But again, when I'm reading from the perspective of a hero, I like to see him being pretty evil. Then, of course, we got video game stuff here. We got Spider-Man Velocity. Hey, did you like that Spider-Man suit from the Spider-Man game? I bet you did, because that Spider-Man game was amazing. Now we're writing books about the individual suits and how they could have come about. And Dennis Hopeless is writing it. I don't know if I'm going to instantly jump to read that one, but I kind of like that it exists. Then we got Black Cat, which is going to be having her own ongoing, I guess, spinning out of Hunted right now. But yeah, Felicia tries to pull off the greatest heist of the century. She tries to steal the Eye of Agamotto. Which, hey, way to have high aspirations, lady. I don't know if you're going to be able to pull it off, but that's a story you can read about this August. What else do we got here? Oh, someone did a thing. Oh, Connor Hawk again, helping me out. Always appreciate it. I still play Spider-Man for the PS4. I need to go back, actually, in streams, because I never played the DLC. I really need to go back and play the DLC is what I need to do. Get that nice and finished off there, I think, would be a nice place to go with it. What else do we got here? Miles Morales continuing to go strong. Apparently his next arc in August will be dealing with him again having to call up his father and, talk about his shield pass, which is something that, again, between the Ultimate Universe and the Bendis stuff, it's like, did he work for shield? Did he not? Apparently, yes, he did. Also, Uncle Aaron is still alive and still doing stuff. So expect more of that. Also, too, I can't be the only one who thinks him flying through the sky like this has to be a reference to the movie, too, even if just a subtle one. Superior Spider-Man, which I hate to say I've dropped off of, which is a shame because I love Doc Ock, I love Christos Gage, but just didn't have room for it. He's going to be fighting another character called Spider-Geddon, which is like a Norman Osborn from an alternate universe where he became a spider person. Okay, I guess, you gotta give him his own enemies. I'm kind of done with multiversal Spider-Man when it's not the Spider-Verse movie, but alright. We've seen a lot of heroes from the other universe, now let's get some villains in there, why don't we? A Spider-Man thing I think we can all agree is the best, though, is Chip Zdarsky's Spider-Man life story. It will actually be coming to a conclusion. Yeah, it'll be coming to an end in August with issue number 6, The Teens. And they say right here that Spider-Man is going to be 70 by the time all of this is over, because obviously if you've been reading that book, you will know he is aging in real time, which is pretty freaking cool. Then what else do we have here? Sensational Spider-Man Self-Improvement, another Peter David story there that they got. Thanos from Teenie Howard, which I have actually really been enjoying. I read issue 1, thought it was great. You get casual activewear Thanos in that book, and what's not to love? Here we got Thanos looks to be fighting his own Black Order, so that should be fun. We also got the Acts of Evil, which I feel that like Sal and I need to pat ourselves on the back because we totally came up with this last May on our own, that they should totally dust the cobwebs off this concept because it's so cool to have Marvel villains swap heroes. It's not going to be a whole event. It's going to be a series of one-shot annuals, which is fine by me. And they got some interesting and I'm going to say strange kind of matchups. So like She-Hulk versus Bullseye, who we can tell from this picture right here, it looks like Jennifer Walters is going back to be more a traditional She-Hulk, at least for this story, not the more mindless monster one we've seen in Justice League. Or not that Justice League, goddamn, I've been talking too much. Avengers. Seems weird that she's going to be fighting Bullseye, of all people. Definitely wouldn't be my choice, but I guess, no one is a match for Bullseye in the street level a lot of the time, so let's, give him a really strong Avenger to fight. We got Deadpool versus Nightmare. Nightmare, of course, coming back to much prominence on the heels of Avengers No Road Home. So, that should be a fun matchup for Deadpool. You get a fun poster here that looks like it's right out of She-Ra with him riding a freaking unicorn. What's not to love about that? Then you got all the new Asian market comics that they're really trying to push hard. We got Paul Scheer's Ghost Rider destroys the Marvel Universe. Sorry, Cosmic Ghost Rider destroys Marvel history. Haven't read that one yet, but it's coming to an end here, and I feel like that's something that would probably be enjoyed better when you read it all at once. Then we got the other Donny Cates Silver Surfer book, Black, which again, I think is connected to his Thanos win story. He's going to go into the negative verse, and that's why his arm gets all messed up. Looks cool, looks like a fever dream. I'm all about it. Captain Marvel still going strong under Kelly Thompson. Hey, look, we got the nice little Kree battle armor there. I don't know what that's about. I haven't been reading the book, but looks fun. We got Guardians of the Galaxy, The Death of Rocket Raccoon. Yeah, I can only imagine that's a misleading title, but if you have been reading Guardians of the Galaxy, they seek to imply that something happened with Rocket at some point. They haven't quite explained whether he broke up with the team, whether he died, whether he's blind. We don't know. But that's kind of been going in the background of this first arc, and it looks like they're finally going to explain where that's going in August. So, be ready for that one, everybody. How dare they kill your favorite Guardian? He'll be back, if they're even going to kill him at all. I very, very strongly feel that this is some kind of, fake-out metaphorical thing. I think Cates is better than that. Then we got The History of the Marvel Universe from Mark Waid, which, again, looks like just a really cool concept, honestly, to, go back and try and tell the whole history of the universe in only a 6-issue. It's like he's been watching a lot of YouTube videos. It's like, man, these history videos do really well, don't they? Dropped off Black Panther, but this is the end of his space run. He's coming back to Earth, after hanging out and building the Empire and everything. That should be cool. I know people are still really digging Ta-Nehisi Coates' work on Black Panther. Was a little wordy for me. Definitely liking what he's doing on Captain America. So, I'm glad that could go places. Invisible Woman will be having a mini-series of her very own. Again, just a wash in Fantastic Four books for that month, for August. If you're a Fantastic Four fan, you're going to have a great time. We got Daredevil number 9 from Chip Zdarsky, No Devils, Only Gods. This book here claims that we'll be seeing a new Daredevil in the pages of this. It won't be Matt, and it won't be Cole North, that new detective who I was 100% certain will be the new Daredevil. Chip Zdarsky took to Twitter and basically said, hey, it's not that kind of story of who lives, who dies, who inherits the costume. This is going to be something totally different. It's going to be a different type of story that we haven't really seen before. And how Matt can fight crime without really being Daredevil. So, I'm up for creative stuff like that. Loki, again, continues to go strong here as well. Again, hey, guess he survives War of Realms if he gets a miniseries. We got Valkyrie, which we already talked about, coming out in August. Kind of cool stuff. The idea of Jane becoming All-Mother, getting powers of her own. Not getting a hammer, which I think a lot of people thought she would get. And she is also going to be fighting Bullseye. Apparently, Bullseye is just freaking biting off way more than he can chew in the month of August. You know, that's his summer vacation there from being a dude who mostly deals with street-level heroes, deciding, you know, I'm going to try and kill some gods and some Hulks, because, you know, I feel like I can do it. Then we got the Punisher Kill Crew, which they finally explained what this book is, and essentially after the War of Realms, Punisher realizes, yo, all these different realms, there's a lot of people out here who could use some punishing. I better steal Thor's goat so I can travel around to all the different realms and punish people for crimes in a madcap D&D adventure. All right, I'm down for it. You've won me over. That's cool. I like it. Are they going to bring back Blind Spot to be Daredevil? Remember him? I do remember Blind Spot. I liked him. I feel like they kind of ended his story prematurely. I don't think Zdarsky's bringing him back as much as I do like him. That does sound like something Frank would do. Agreed. Now, what else? We're getting near in the end here. Punisher 13, obviously, Punisher's ongoing war with Baron Zemo comes to New York. The Kingpin gets involved. Lots of good stuff there. Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is actually winding down. Apparently, issue 50 is going to be its last one, which, by God, I think we can all agree that was an amazing run that no one thought was going to happen. I haven't been reading it. I kept saying, oh, I should start. This looks fun and interesting. But the fact that it made it this long, that it was this Amazon juggernaut, you know, for sales there and trades and everything, I think is super cool. It's nice to see, you know, a character's profile be raised, and if she shows up in anything else, you'll know, hey, it was because of this. Ironheart, Riri's going to be going to Wakanda. That should be fun. Again, have not been reading this new book from Eve L. Ewing, but everyone says it's great, that it's way better than what Bendis was doing, and I'm happy that book found an audience. You got the Magnificent Miss Marvel. Again, couple issues behind on this one. She's got a new costume. She's going to be hanging out with Iron Man for a little bit. Solid in a mid. Continuing to go from strength to strength between this and the Miles book. That's got to be a daunting task to have to do both of these, because both those characters have such protective fan bases, and if you were to screw either one of them over, they'd let you know about it. Dead Man Logan will still not be done by August. Honestly, I totally forgot this book was still going on. I read the first issue and I'm like, that's fine, but this is not for me. Conan the Barbarian gets another one with Assad Ribic, both writing and drawing. Interesting. Most people only know him as an artist, so that's cool. He's going to get to write and draw a thing. Sign me up for that. That just looks pretty. We got more Age of Conan Valeria. They got the rights to Conan back, and by God, they're gonna let you remember that they got Conan. They got all the Star Wars books. I feel like I need to tag Matt in to talk about that one, but yeah, more or less that's everything coming from Marvel in August 2019, and that's a hell of a lot of stuff. That's a lot of books is what that is. And in fact, how long have I even been talking for right now? I feel like I've been talking for I've been talking for 45 minutes just on the Marvel ones. We haven't even gotten to the DC stuff yet. But how's the Batman and Superman built doing for the month of August? Well, let us see. We got the Batman Who Laughs officially coming to a close. This one actually got an extra issue, and seemingly he succeeds in what he did. His plan to, poison the populace, turn them into darker, more twisted versions of themselves, and we know that because Joshua Williamson is getting a brand new book, and I'm really excited for this one, Batman Superman. It's been a long time since we've had a Batman Superman book, and this is going to be dealing directly with the fallout of the Batman Who Laughs. Apparently, the Batman Who Laughs is able to twist and mess up 6 people in the DC universe, 6 prominent people who kind of become his sleeper agents, and they colloquially call them the Secret Six, which on one hand, when I first heard this news, I was super fucking psyched at the idea of there being a new Secret Six, because I loved Gail Simone's Secret Six so much, only to realize they're not really going to be the Secret Six, so oops. Yeah, good for Williamson. He's basically DC's Al Ewing. That's a fair comparison, D&G. That's a very fair comparison. And yes, I'm also happy he's getting more work. I haven't had a chance to read as much of his Flash, even though Matt swears by it. And next time I get a big plane ride or a big bus ride or something, I'll be sure to read it. But yeah, nice to have a Batman Superman book back, especially something with great talent. And hey, maybe if Joshua Williamson does good on this book, it'll open the doors for him to write other Batman things. Now, Year of the Villain will be in full swing in the month of August, and here's something I don't think any of us expected. We talked about this on the Comic Multiverse already. Friggin' Neil Adams is coming out of retirement to write and draw Batman versus Ra's al Ghul, which I think that's super crazy to have a story where Ra's al Ghul is actually the main character, and to have this classic superstar artist-writer actually write and draw it. You know, sign me up for Neil Adams every time I have his autograph on my wall above the thing here. And I mean, hey, the man gives me hope that he can keep at it in this comic book line of work for as long as he has. Also, talk to the man at a con. He's just like a charming grandpa who will talk your ear off every time. And also, to come along with this and a bunch of the other Villains Month thing, they're doing facsimile editions of famous stories. So, hey, you know the original Demon's Head storyline from the comics? Well, we're reprinting it now. In case, you know, you live under a rock and don't know who Ra's al Ghul is. Here you go. Here's the actual issue altogether. I think that's great. As like a comic historian point of view, I would love to be able to give that to people and be like, hey, this is the original story here that this character you know and love came from. Batman getting a lot of love in the month of August because Sean Gordon Murphy will be well underway with White Knight, which sees the introduction of Azrael into this new White Knight universe. But he's not alone. There looks to be several Azraels, and they look dope as fuck. They look great. I loved White Knight so much. White Knight was my favorite Batman book the year it came out. Really interested to see where they go from here. They also seek to imply that Azrael is kind of doing the bidding of the Joker here, that's why the guy becomes the crime fighter that he does. Wonder how that's going to be, because obviously, you know, the Joker that we saw in the White Knight universe is a little bit more morally gray. You know, he did bad things, but he did them for good reasons. DNG, I can see Jason Todd being Azrael in this universe. That's probably a safe guess there, DNG. That's probably a really safe guess that's who he's going to end up being. If I had to put money on it, that's where I would put it. Warren Ellis, for some reason, has decided to bring back Wildcats. The one and only Wildcats. Remember Grifter? He's back now, in Pog form. Ellis just does this sometimes. He's a great writer who's like, give me Moon Knight, give me Wildcats. Don't give me anything that's overly popular. I want to, you know, make something great from the ground up. Also, for Month of the Villain, Tom Taylor is going to be giving us a little Black Mask story. All right, you know, Black Mask is one of those characters I always felt could be a little bit bigger and a little bit more popular in the greater scheme of Batman villains, and Tom Taylor is just an amazingly stellar writer. Another guy who maybe if he pays his dues long enough could potentially write the main Batman book. So, you know, something to put there. Roman Sionis, he's a character who I think they've had a hard time cracking the nut on. It's like, yeah, he's got a cool look and a cool name, but why should I care about him, is the thing. And here's hoping Tom Taylor can crack that nut and give us a reason to truly care about him. Sinestro from Mark Russell is also getting an issue. I mean, Sinestro, always a bankable villain, always a fan favorite, you know, not surprised at all. I have not been reading what's been going on in Green Lantern for a long time, so I have no clue what's going on with Sinestro, but hey, more power to him. Black Canary, a bunch of her stuff is getting collected. Oh, it's that Young Reader graphic novel. Yeah, that's cool. She's a cool character. If I had a young daughter who was interested in comic books, I'd be like, yeah, read Black Canary. Dinah's cool. That Super Sons book, which I read a little of that, actually, the children's, like, chapter book thing. It's weird because it's its own continuity. Yeah. I mean, I guess I should have expected that, but like its own weird continuity and makes its own weird decisions about the relationship between characters. Which I guess they know the Super Sons concept is really bankable, but they definitely make a solid choice to be like, okay, we could be for all ages or everyone, or we could be just for children. They thoroughly decide that they're going to be just for children. We got Frank Miller's Superman Year 1. That is coming out. Also just in, Superman Year 1 from Frank Miller has also been delayed. It hasn't, but it probably will be delayed. I mean, it's fine. I just don't know if I need any more Frank Miller Year 1s in my life. I hate to say it, but, you know, unlike Neil Adams, who continues to turn in good work even into his late age, I think Frank Miller's best years are behind him. What was the best thing Frank Miller wrote in the last couple of years? Probably some latter-day Sin City. And that might be cruel, that might be mean, that might be controversial. That's just how I feel. I'm not excited to read Frank Miller books anymore. That's just me. This is also from the Black Label line, DC Black Label. Remember that? Remember when that was going to be the big thing? Which I hate to say feels like it's very much dead in the water. The Swamp Thing show will be coming out, and because the Swamp Thing show is coming out, we're getting the House of Secrets, another facsimile edition, the first appearance of Swamp Thing from Len Wein and Jack Kirby and Mark Evanier and all those other guys. So, if you're a fan of that, definitely check it out. Here we got another Titans thing. I guess they've completely blown up the Titans as a concept right now, but because the TV show is so popular, they need something to show. So here's a Titans one-shot, everyone. No, we won't resurrect the team you like, but we called Dan Jurgens back into action to do this for the first time. And also it's going to be Hawk and Dove focused. And also, what is there? We're getting Mentalo from the Doom Patrol in there too. These were originally published from Titans Giant 1 and 2, so we couldn't even commission new Titan stories. We just needed Titan stories because we want something to tie in with the show. That's unfortunate. I'm kind of unhappy with where Titans lives at the moment. I wish it was a little better. Action Comics continues into Year of the Villain with this whole Leviathan storyline. We see the return of Red Cloud and also whatever weird individual seems to be leading Leviathan. I will say, for all the Bendis Superman books out there, this is the one I actually like the most, because I think it's the one that plays to his strengths the most, as a writer of spy, espionage, thriller, that sort of thing. I know lots of people don't feel that way, and they think this book is as bad as the main Superman book, and I mean, hey, that's your opinion, you're entitled to it. Titans starring Rick Grayson. Exactly, D&G. They should just start calling him that, because that's basically what he is, and I can bet you dollars to donuts that's why they made the change. That's why they did it. They torpedoed a perfectly good Nightwing book because of what was happening on TV. I wish they wouldn't do that, but they keep doing that. Aquaman will actually be rejoining the Justice League in the summer. He, of course, disappeared after Drowned Earth. And would you look at that, he's got fancy tattoos now like he does in the movie film. Because we gotta have the comics and the movies match up, even though they never explained why Jason Momoa had those tattoos that he had. But that movie made a lot of money, and so now Aquaman needs to have tattoos now and forever. It has been decided. They were actually sending me Aquaman to review for another channel, and then they just stopped out of the blue. So, that's why I'm not covering it. Should probably work that out at some point. I probably shouldn't even have said that, but, that's a thing. That's a thing that's going on right now. Now, what else do we have from DC around this time? Batgirl is going to be fighting is that Brainiac? I thought that was Brainiac for a second, but I don't think it is. Killer Moth. She's going to be fighting a new version of Killer Moth, which that certainly doesn't look like it. Also, the Terrible Trio is now a quartet, because apparently they're going to be working with her. There's the reawakening of Oracle. I feel like I should go back and read Batgirl. I feel like there's a lot of really interesting stuff I'm missing in this book. Everyone told me this new run is not only really solid, but actually pays reference to a lot of the stuff that I was reading and enjoying from the Gail Simone run. So, yeah, maybe now's the time to get back in there at some point. Batman Beyond, I have never been reading. Tom King's Batman, obviously, City of Bane, Dark Gifts will be in full effect from here because they're trying to tie it all together and be like, no. What Lex Luthor is doing over in Justice League is totally relating to what Bane is doing, even though they're absolutely not, but we're just going to say they are. This is issue 76 of a run that will now be cut short. We know officially today that Tom King will be leaving the book. Probably for greener pastures, another miniseries, and probably some TV work. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the Hulk outselling his book. I'm sure it has nothing to do with general fan sentiment slowly but surely turning on him the whole time it has. But there you go. I hope he can go out with a bang. I mean, for better or worse, I kind of like what he did with Bane in the beginning, even though I feel, that even that went downhill when they were just like, oh, well, Bane is behind everything. Bane is behind it all. Bane became like the Force in the Star Wars movies, or Adam in BioShock whenever there was a problem. Oh, Bane did it. Bane did everything, don't you know? I would not be shocked if they ended that whole story by saying Bane was actually the one who killed Batman's parents. There's something wrong with Bane's wearing clothes. I don't know. I will say I do like this costume because, that's at least what he looked like. At least they're not trying to make him wear a stupid coat or the rebreather from the video games. Also, another thing that we're going to be seeing by the time King's Run is over. Gotham Girl back again, now as a Robin, but not just for anyone, for the evil Flashpoint Batman. Bruce's father, who we don't know how he survived the destruction of his universe, why he's evil, and why he's working for Bane all this time later. That happened like several months ago now, and we still don't know why. But, you know, apparently it's all going to be worth it, though, at the end of it. I see this image of Thomas Wayne and of Gotham Girl, and all I can think of is Red Hood and Scarlet, which I thought was actually a much cooler team-up, but there it is, everyone. That's coming in Batman. Then we got Batman and the Outsiders, again, which I have not been reading. Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, still going strong. I haven't watched that animated movie yet, really should. Matt was saying great things about it. DC Ceased, of course, also here from Tom Taylor. Looking great. Loved that first issue. Really excited to see where they're going with this one here. Who doesn't love a fun horror story set to the backdrop of superhero-dom? I know I do. Deathstroke is in an interesting place. Again, dropped off reading this one, but was enjoying it when I did. They're talking about crowning a new Deathstroke soon enough, so it looks like his son Jericho and his daughter Rose are going to be going to war over that one. So that should be fun. Detective Comics. Not a lot to go on here. Mr. Freeze is going to be the villain of the Villains Month issue, or, sorry, Year of the Villain. Villains Month was before. Year of the Villain is totally new and different. Boy, I fucked that one up, didn't I? But yeah, so I like the idea of Tomasi writing Mr. Freeze, and it also looks like his costume has been greatly redesigned here. He doesn't need the helmet. He's got a bit of a, like, icy gauntlet thing going on, and he's got a newly designed ice gun. So yeah, I like Mr. Freeze stories. I feel he's been greatly underused and underutilized, so, you know, more power to him. Yeah, Tomasi's writing it. I bet it will be good. Oh, really? Imiko murdered Slade in the crossover, KT. Wow, see, that's how out of the loop I am. I don't like that they made her a murderer. I don't like lots of things that are going on in that Glass book, which is why I stopped reading it. It's nice to know I made the right choice. I'm good on that. Apparently anyone can be Robin now. Even before that, so excited, everyone can be Robin. Do you not remember the We Are Robin book, when being a Robin was just a straight-up youth movement that anyone could be in? That's a thing. That's totally a thing. What else do we have going on here from DC? More Detective Comics stuff here. Just, you know, Tomasi going strong, doing good. Some really wonderful looking art here from Christian Deuce. Has he done anything else I know? I don't know. His name doesn't sound familiar, but I like his stuff. That one particularly is pretty great. Then we got the Doom Patrol, Weight of the Worlds 2. Hey, did you like that Doom Patrol show? You should, because it's amazing. Remember we canceled Doom Patrol prematurely, or the writer couldn't finish it, and we just kind of scuttled the whole Young Animal imprint? Well, it's popular again, so now we're bringing it back. And not only are we bringing back all the characters from that old run, but we're also bringing back Flex Mentalo too, because he's obviously super popular on the new show too. Win-win, I guess. In fact, even this picture here looks to be self-aware, because they're all on a red carpet and they're like big celebrities now. So, you know, I'm fine with that. Getting a really meta take on the whole series, where it's like, yeah, you know, they're big deals now. They're big deals now, don't you know? It is Gerard Way, so I hope it makes its deadline. I hope they do season 2 of Doom Patrol. Oh, they have to, Space Lord. They have to do a season 2. How well received it was, how great it was. Then again, they couldn't quite afford to finish Swamp Thing, from what I understand. They had to scuttle that a couple episodes from the end. I really hope they do. I really hope they do. Flex Mentalo, great character, can make a great street orgasm. Exactly. See, the Nothing Man watched that last episode. God, I'm so excited for that final episode. That's tonight, isn't it? It's Thursday that we can watch that one. So yeah, definitely probably when I'm done here, I'm going to check that one out. What else was there? Event Leviathan, spinning out of the pages of the Superman book. Who is Leviathan? What is Leviathan? What do they want? They're everywhere. They're the big mystery organization there. They seem to be recruiting heroes. Apparently, if I want a Green Arrow fix, I'm going to have to read this, because he looks to be a prominent character without his own book at the moment. All right, I can deal with that. Also, hey, getting to see Alex Maleev draw a bunch of super badass DC things. Also, dream come true, something I never thought would happen. I am more than all right with that if that's the way they want to do it. Freedom Fighters will be rounding out its mini-series run around this time. Surprised that book went as strong as it did there. I kept meaning to pick it up because I like Robert Venditti and I like that as a concept. Flash still doing his thing there. He just had his year 1 story that'll be wrapping up. He also looks to be fighting an older version of Captain Cold with a beard and who seems to actually have his ice powers from the early New 52 back. That's surprising. That's unexpected. I don't exactly know what's going on there, but hey, Joshua Williamson hasn't let people down yet, so that's pretty good. The Green Lantern continues to go there with Grant Morrison at the helm. We got a bunch of other new and different Green Lanterns going on there. Again, book I haven't been keeping up with. I keep hearing mixed things about it. I read issue 1 and felt a little lost, honestly, not gonna lie. Harley Quinn, which is funny, Harley Quinn gets to be on the cover of her own Villains Month issue, which I think is super awesome because she is still, at the end of the day, a villain in her own right. So I thought that was cute. Hawkman is going to be fighting the Shadow Thief. Again, good job on that Hawkman book for hanging in there for so long. Usually those books always get canceled super early. And fighting Shadow Thief because he has to, because Shadow Thief is the only Hawkman villain people know. What else did we have going on here? Justice League continuing with the mind-bendingness of all the different realities and, you know, the Mr. Mixelplexes and everything. Also, Starro, or is it Jarro now, looks to be taking center stage in this next arc come August time. Yeah, I'm super excited for this. Again, one of the most consistently best books on the DC side of things. You know, one of the only true must-reads at that company at that moment. Justice League Dark, equally as strong and equally as fun. It looks like they may have dealt with the other kind, but they still have to deal with Cersei, who's got all 3 of the witch marks from the Witch Mark story. If you recall that show, she might actually end up being a bigger threat than the Upside Down Man and everything else they've been fighting. And I love the redesign they gave her for this one. I'm super, super, super down for all of that. What else is there now? Justice League Odyssey, which I haven't been reading. Lois Lane from Greg Rucka. Holy shit. I mean, it's Greg Rucka who's coming back to do a, like, comic book superhero story, so it must be good. It really must be good, right? He just wouldn't do it for no reason. DNG says he keeps meaning to jump on Justice League Dark, but can't find a good entry point. Yeah, any point's really good. Well, no, that's not true. You gotta read the Witchmark stuff. But really, you should read from issue 1 because it's just that good. I definitely give Justice League Dark the seal of approval. It's just that good. What else is there from DC in the month of August? Lucifer, Martian Manhunter, Nightwing. Okay, so Nightwing is interesting, and I mentioned this before. Technically still going by Rick Grayson, but judging from this cover, he's back in the blue. Still dealing with the group called the Nightwings, but I hope the thing that might actually save this, and might be the reason I actually check this out, is that the villain he's fighting for Year of the Villain is William Cobb, aka the original Talon assassin that we dealt with in Night of the Owls. Why is that important? William Cobb is actually Dick Grayson's great-great-grandfather. He was the one who changed his name to Grayson because they were the Grey Sons of Gotham. And so I hope that, you know, this Talon assassin will be the guy to eventually slap Dick in the face and be like, hey, your name is Dick, idiot. Be Dick again. Be Dick again so we can start reading the book again. So, you know, I don't have to be reading it just, you know, on protest that I'm not reading it anymore. That would be nice. Dick does need an intervention with all the different Robins to be like, your name is Dick. Be Dick, you idiot. If I was to write the miniseries, that's what I would call it. Nightwing, be Dick, you idiot. Put that on a shirt. What else there? Pearl, which I'm not reading. Red Hood and the Outlaws, that I've never been reading. Shazam, which I'm loving, but man, Shazam is getting slow again under Jeff Johns. I know he's got a lot of projects and, you know, a lot of work to do to not only flesh out Billy's new, you know, foster siblings. Most of them don't even have superhero names yet, and also flesh out the realms. They keep talking about taking a trip to the Darklands and the Monsterlands, and Savannah and Black Adam are building their own society. That book is going places. I just hope that it doesn't, you know, get stopped up on the way there. Matt Fraction is doing My Pal Jimmy Olsen. Holy shit, another instance of can you believe they got this writer to write this particular book. So, that's got to be pretty solid because, Matt Fraction doesn't write superhero stuff all the time. So if he is doing it, it's got to be worth it. It's really got to be worth it. Keep in mind, this is the dude who made Hawkeye into a critical darling. So you can't tell me he can't do the same for Jimmy Olsen, Superman's best pal. Definitely sign me up for that one. And hey, it almost makes all the Bendis stuff worth it when we got these as part of the event. Matt Fraction should be the next Batman writer. I don't know if he wants it, is the thing. I don't know what his payday is on that. And if it was, he would probably demand to take it into some crazy directions. But, I'd be down for a Matt Fraction Batman. Titans, again, the book I said I wasn't reading. It's kind of interesting, though. They're going to be fighting Lobo, who has sick-ass tats now, brah. So that's a book to watch out for. G. Willow Wilson's Wonder Woman. Again, I hate myself for not keeping up with this one because I thought her writing Wonder Woman should be the best thing ever. But again, I just wasn't able to keep up with it. She will seemingly be fighting the Cheetah again, who has the crazy God Killer sword. So that looks to definitely be upping the ante in that one in a big way. And it looks cool, too. Definitely looks cool. If you're reading Wonder Woman, you'll probably enjoy that. What is it there? I guess Jeff Lemire isn't writing the Terrifics anymore when they fight Bizarro. I wonder if they've moved him off this book because they're moving him to other projects, maybe Bat-themed projects, perhaps. I know he saved Green Arrow when that book was in very dire straits, so maybe he could do this too. KT says Wonder Woman has been dope. That's good. And that I can start at issue 69. I'm pretty sure I bought issue number 69 and just never got around to reading it with how heavy my load is. That's the problem about reading comics for a living. The books you want to read and the books you have to read for work. One pile always ends up getting bigger. Or Jeff Lemire is doing another Marvel book. Lemire is going to be part of that Marvel number 1000, so who knows. But then again, I don't think he has an exclusivity contract with any company. I think he just goes where the work is. At least that's it as far as I know. We got Brian Michael Bendis' Young Justice, which continues to go at a bit of a snail's pace. And also every revelation they have and every answer to every question they give me gives me more questions. This book is on thin ice with me. I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep reading that one, honestly. We got Batman Universe, which is the reprints of all those Walmart stories that Brian Michael Bendis has been writing. So when people say, hey, will Brian Michael Bendis end up writing Batman? The answer is he already has been. He just hasn't been writing it for the main series. Then we got Tom King's Superman book, so these guys have already switched books. But, yeah, I don't... Have the first volumes of these even come out yet? I know they made a big deal about it because it's like, hey, you can finally read the Walmart comics. And then, of course, we get into all the different trades and Ultimate Editions and everything else. But all things considered, that's pretty much all of the DC books for the month of August. So, yeah, there you go. I'm happy that the Terrifics continues to be decent. It came out under weird circumstances and was the last book standing of the Dark Universe imprint. So, yeah, there you have it, everyone. There's a big 2-part solicitation station for you where we covered everything that there was coming to you this summer in August. Summer, always a big time for comic books and the two companies, Marvel and DC, because that's when they have the big events. That's when they throw everything at you. And boy howdy, did you get some good ones in this one. And some ones that are kind of meh, but such is the case. So, yeah, I'm going to start bringing this show to a close. I'm going to start winding down so I can do the Unsolicited Wrestling podcast. But I will hang out for a few minutes longer if anyone has anything to say, any questions, any concern. I will try and answer them. Jill, if you had to recommend 2 books from each company right now, what would they be? Ooh, that's a good one, SD. I wish I had more time to think about that. In DC right now, probably Justice League and Justice League Dark are the best ones. At Marvel right now, it would be Spider-Man Life Story and... what's another Marvel book I'm really loving at the moment? Spider-Man Life Story, and I guess Thor, because it's always been Thor. What character or characters would you have? Spider-Man story. Ask many. Ooh, tough. That's a tough one. I think Captain America has had several stories like that. Maybe the Punisher would be good. Punisher life story, because America has always been involved in a war, so there's always like a different war for him to be embroiled in right up until 2020. That would be interesting. But yeah. What's the discussion? Asked Muhos. Comics. Lots of comics, particularly what's coming out in the month of August. This summer, we just came to a close there. Iron Man life story would also be cool for all the same reasons, and you could see the jump in technology every decade. Iron Man and Cyclops would watch the X-Men age with him. Ooh, that would be fun too. That would also be a fun one. But yeah, so I'm good to bring this one to a close. All right, talking about the movies too. No, just the comics. Just the comics on this one. Normally we talk about movies, but normally that's a different show. Batman life story, but every 2 decades the Robin becomes the Batman. Oh, that would be fun, D&G. They'd never do that, but that'd be fun. You might be the only one, the Nothing Man. I don't know anyone who's reading Dial H for Hero. It must have a fan audience. It must have some, lovers to it because it keeps coming back every so often. Someone's got to be digging it. So excited. Whatever happened to DC's Damage character? Got swept under the rug with all the other Dark Universe characters because they were just shameless ripoffs of Marvel characters, made at a time when they thought that would be a better idea. Ghostbusters Lifetime. That would also be fun. Alright, so I'm going to start bringing this one to a close. I will be back, though, if you are a fan of wrestling. I will be doing the wrestling show next. We will be talking about All Elite Wrestling, Double or Nothing. That's this Friday. So if you are interested in that, definitely stick around. I'm going to change a bunch of stuff around. I'm actually going to change into a wrestling shirt for this because that's kind of part of the deal for when I do that show. And yes, I will be back, everyone, in just a moment. So thank you for coming out. Thank you, Connor Hawk, and everyone else who donated. If you want to support the stream and the creation of more shows like this, I have numerous ways you can do so down in the description. Either buy me a coffee through Coffee, give to PayPal directly, obviously bits and shares and everything. All help me in the long run. All very much appreciated. So yes, I will be back in just a moment, everyone. So give me a second to change, and we'll be back again. And we'll be back again next time for another Solicitation Station where we talk about what's coming out in the next couple months from both companies. So until then, everyone, bye-bye.